The fishing news is brought to you by Interlux Marine Paint, Maxima Fishing Line, and Okuma.
Family feasts, football, waterfowl, and of course fishing. A uniquely American holiday for giving thanks for our bounty. And a bountiful action is definitely something we have this Thanksgiving week. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. Greatest time of year to be down along the Jersey Shore, down through the mid-Atlantic. And we have got some big fish reported this week, and this big action should be continuing through the Thanksgiving holiday. And if we're lucky, could take us through the Christmas holiday as well. So let's start off with the big fish of the week. Honors goes to Dustin Strell, who's giving thanks this week for a 22.5-pound tog that he caught on the Fins on Feathers with Captain Frank Tenori. Weighed that in to Fisherman's Den North over the weekend. Dustin releases a lot of fish, a lot of big fish. He's one of those guys who loves to release those slow-growing, enormous tog. But this one, on a slightly slow day, he said, he dropped the jig down with some light tackle and ended up with this monster. In fact, it engulfed his crab jig so much that they brought that one back home. But again, as we get this 6-fish bag limit back in New Jersey the middle of last week, more boats are on the grounds looking for those blackfish. And with relatively warmer waters, it seems like more of those big blackfish are closer to shore on some of those near-shore wrecks and snags, which is providing some good action. Real good size fish were reported in the past week. We've got a new Dreamboat Tog leader on the way in New Jersey. That's coming from Gary Carroll. He had a 16.98-pound blackfish, again over the weekend, that he weighed in to Brennan's in Summers Point. So again, don't forget about that Dreamboat, folks. You fishermen subscribers, you have that opportunity. And now that we've got some big burly blackfish out there and the grounds are good, make sure you bring those Titanic fish back to weigh in at your local tackle shop. Talking Dreamboat with just about a week to go. Bluefish are a big story along the coast, some real whoppers. In fact, Paul Hartel landed himself on the Dreamboat leaderboard with a 22.2-pound bluefish that he caught just last week. That put him in 4th place on the bluefish division. And since he's got a weak fish as well, he's only off the lead by about 21 points. I say only because don't forget, this year's a little bit different. You can weigh in multiple fish in those individual categories. So you get into a situation where you've got 19 to 22-pound bluefish, you could take yourself all the way to the top of the leaderboard. Ed Plichta, who's always on the leaderboard every year, he put himself on there again with a 21.59-pounder over the weekend. That one's on its way to the Fisherman magazine. He had it on a number 4 Maja. He was looking for those striped bass, but it ended up with his giant bluefish that he brought back to Lacey Marine to weigh in. Now, one of the biggest blues of the season was also caught this past week, and it was Sunday off of Maniloking when Brandon DiLeonardo, 22 pounds, 14 ounces. That is a monster. He had that snag and drop in the surf. So he was on that live bunker. A bluefish that big is going to be able to swallow up that bunker, which is what exactly happened when he brought that fish into Murphy's hook house in Toms River. Another great opportunity for you guys in that 11th hour for the Dreamboat leaderboard is black sea bass. And on the last offshore trip on the Big Jamaica, we had reports of a 7-pound sea bass for Thomas Carter and a 6-pounder for Jimmy Dick. Now, the Jamaica will be going offshore on those big humpback grounds. They're leaving early Saturday morning. It's almost Friday night, 1 a.m. Saturday. You have plenty of options to go pro if you're looking for some of those jumbo black sea bass. The Paramount is sailing from Friday all the way into the following week. The Carolyn Ann and Carolyn Ann 2 and Barnegat Light. You've got charter options like the Cape Queen in Cape May. Of course, down at Lewis Harbor, the Grizzly, the Katydid, they're sailing for black sea bass, as well as the Captain's Lady out of Bowers Beach. Wherever you go, there's ports throughout the region where you can jump on, take advantage of that black sea bass bite before the season ends at the end of this year, but also do it the next week. You could put yourself on that Dreamboat leaderboard. Let's move on to striped bass, because the striped bass action from north to south has been great. We still have some good fish to the north and east, waves of fish that haven't arrived yet. Akira from True World checked in this week. He's been fishing, charter fishing up in the East River and the Hudson River. Had a nice one up for Jimmy Perez, a 40-pounder that was caught around Ellis Island on Chunk Bunker. So more of those fish should drop out of the river soon, get through Raritan Bay, down along the coast, And before you know it, we're going to have that gangbusters action, I hope, all the way through the Christmas holiday. Brian Unor was out with Sean Lloyd Bryant's from Mount Laurel. They were out off of Brigantine over the weekend, a 40-pounder on live bunker. So again, more of those big fish are moving down into the southern range. Andy Herman and TJ Schrush, they had them to 49 pounds off Brigantine over the weekend. They were trolling stretch 30s and mojos. As a matter of fact, Andy at Riptide told me that they were working the bunker schools trying to live line. They weren't doing as well when they were dragging those trolled baits. Fish in the 30-pound range, making it down into southern waters, into Cape May. Sea Isle Bait and Tackle, they had fish to 30 pounds over the weekend. So we're finally getting that run down into Cape May County as well. And also the first ocean run fish have been reported down along the Delaware coast as well. Keep in mind, as these fish spread out down along through the range from north to south and new fish arrive, they're piling on peanuts. You know, some of the adult bunker have moved farther to the south off Cape May County and into Delaware. But we've got another run of good action with the peanut bunker coming down. In fact, earlier this week, blitz conditions through much of the central and North Jersey coast. Nick Verrera and DJ Intrabartolo, they checked in. They had them really good in Monmouth County on rubber shads on Monday. Again, blitz conditions, especially in those offshore winds. When we have those winds blowing from the west, it seems like the bait is pushing up closer to the wash, closer in tight to the beach, and that's where we've seen some more of those blitz conditions. Just phenomenal for surf casters. Just pay attention to the weather, and you got to give it a shot. Rob Matthews at Fisherman's Den in Monmouth County, he said, quote, "Get down to the beach before the peanuts move out. You could have the best fishing you ever had." In Ocean County, Grumpy's checked in with an optimistic report. He said, quote, "Of Monday, one of those days you'll look back on in February and just say, wow." Incredible action. We've seen more of these photos. Ken Welshman, he shot this video that shows what you and I are missing as those offshore winds blow. It might be a little chilly, but it's definitely time to get off the couch, get out of the warmth, and try your hand this week. We'll wait to see what happens with that sand eel bite as we progress later on into December. We'll keep you updated every week. You know, we had that sand eel bite that was amazing not too many years ago, but as these peanuts continue to go through, it's almost like in many ways too, I've seen fly casters sometimes getting the edge because they can really lighten up and go with those peanut imitations. So go fish on Black Friday, but then take the time to visit your local tackle shop for those holiday gift items, for some ideas. Turn to our December edition. It came out this week. Our holiday gift guide is in there. We've got just an enormous amount of great gift ideas from some of the top manufacturers, some local guys as well you might want to look for. It's our last print edition of the 2016 season, so you want to get your reports. You're not going to get them in print, folks. You're going to have to check in with us at thefisherman.com on a weekly basis. We'll continue to provide those weekly reports and those weekly forecast videos. If you're looking in the December edition, you might want to think about a gift subscription. It's a great idea for that angler on your list. There's still plenty of time. And again, don't forget to check those online reports every week. We're going to keep you in the action as long as that action continues. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope to see you out on the beach this Friday or Saturday, filled with turkey, but casting for those stripers. Catch them up.
The fishing news is brought to you by Intellux Marine Paint, Maxima Fishing Line, and Okuma.